Namaste. Good morning, everyone. This morning I wanted to speak a little bit about spiritual paths, ego, mental health. Okay. Ego is, all those experiences that one has gathered that makes up who and what they think they are. Anything that has happened to the form, anything they've experienced, they take it as happening to themselves, okay? So ego will do whatever it can to protect itself, even to the point of going off on a bender and seeing some fantasy concocted story as real in order to make itself right. You can have absolute black and white material in front, but they will believe the lie and the spin rather than the truth because it makes them right. Okay. What happens is, some of the dangers in any life, whether it's spiritual or not, somebody grasps onto something, some thought, some fear, and they are unwilling to let go of it. This thing gets caught in the mind, and it's like I was saying in that one, it becomes a whirling tide pool that spins around and around and around and around, and it just keeps cycling these thoughts. And the more they cling to it, the more real it feels, even though it may have no basis in reality whatsoever. But they are going to absolutely proclaim this is real. Okay, and this is how people degrade into a psychosis, because they refuse to let go of the spin that they're in. Ego wants to make itself right, no matter how ill it makes them. Okay, they're going to continue this spin. So again, this is why it's so important, and this is how things like, these paranoias start to develop. They think somebody's watching them or somebody's doing something, and they're always looking for that, always looking for it, always on edge, always, and if you continue to look for something, your mind is going to manufacture it so you can find it. So you become your own, absolutely own worst enemy in these types of things. And sometimes it degrades so much that people need to get some medication, get some intervention, mental health intervention. Again, this is another thing why I don't teach, I don't advocate third eye meditations and doing astral realm travels, because people get so caught up in these things, they lose sight of what is reality and what's not. Okay, and they can get pulled so off balance. So I've seen this time and time again on many paths where people have started going off on these fancifuls, meditations, creating these realms and things and getting caught up in them and really becoming off balance. So it's so important. This is why in this path we say, when you start having these mental dramas, traumas, whatever coming up, one keeps bringing themselves back to this present moment. The only thing that's happening is exactly what's taking place in concrete reality, so that you can stay in balance and not get pulled off on some mental fantasy drama that one wants to project. And when this takes place, one starts projecting it on others and absolutely proclaiming it's real when it has nothing to do with them. You take your angst, you take all your drama, whatever it is, even though it has nothing to do with the person that you're seeing, and you project it on them and are absolutely convinced that they are doing this to you, whatever. And it's the furthest thing from the case, okay? So that's when you know that these people are in real, genuine trouble. Okay, that they need some serious intervention. So again, this is how these things develop. One has a premise, and their premise is no matter how wrong they are, they're going to proclaim their right to keep their ego safe. They put themselves in this bubble, and this is what happens when somebody is in a cult. They become brainwashed, us against them. They're going to make themselves right at any cost. The rest of the world can implode, explode, can tell them they're wrong, yet they won't hear a thing that's being said because they have constructed this thing that their ego is right, and nobody's going to tell them differently. And they keep deconstructing, I mean, just really going downhill. Their morality gets affected. They start losing integrity. They start losing morality. They'll start doing things they would have never done when they were in a balanced state, and they will justify it at every turn. This is why it's so dangerous in cults. Okay. So again, just something to watch for, and know that these things take place. Okay. And the only one that can help them is for them to start to pull themselves out and recognize this is what they are doing. They're being run by these erroneous thoughts, which are cycling and cycling, day and night. Day and night, running. There is no stillness there. There is no quiet there. There is no peace there. There is only ongoing angst and an absolute hell realm of their own construction. Okay. I think perhaps sometimes they know in their heart of hearts that something's wrong. But they're going to continue to self-justify and not look at it. Okay. Because they're going to make themselves right. No matter how ill it makes them, they're going to continue to make themselves right. Okay? And again, like I said, you can confront them with the truth, lay it out in black and white, absolute, but they will deny at every turn. So this is how one degrades into psychosis type of situations until they finally have a break with reality and they start having hallucinations. They start manufacturing, seeing entities, people, whatever, conversations that aren't even taking place. Yet they're going to swear they're valid and real. Just as you see schizophrenics in the street that are screaming at somebody that nobody else is seeing. Okay, they've got something else going in their field of consciousness, which they've taken a break with reality and are off on a tangent with. So again, if you're walking your path or just in the midst of daily life and something is coming up, that is just off, okay? Keep bringing yourself back to the moment and not buying into it, not feeding it, because the more you feed it and give it energy, the more solidified it will become. And the more difficult it is to extricate yourself out of this fabrication. Okay, you will continue just to feed it and make it more and more solid. No matter what the reality actually is. So these are one of the cautions that I have for anybody in any part of life. One has to stay in balance, Stay focused on reality, not one's fantasy, not one's, like I said, the drama that you've had that you want to try to push away, or you're, projecting out to somebody else or to something else, layering on old past stuff as if it's taking place now, So these are the things that we watch for. Again, it's so important to stay in balance. So important to step back from the mind spin rather than being caught up in it and going with it and just getting angry and projecting and fuming and spewing and all of these dramas that happen. Take a breath, step back, look at it objectively, and keep bringing yourself back to this moment. Because if you're chasing some fantasy, if you're chasing something that you're projecting out and trying to lay over somewhere else to make yourself right, then you'll never cut through the ego spin. Okay, you're only going to keep self-justifying and creating some type of a bigger and bigger and bigger soap opera to attempt to protect yourself. And the more you try to protect yourself, the less protection you will actually have. Okay, the more you will be out of control. Again, the more you try to control things, the less control actually that you have. Because you are going to be fighting the universe. Okay, you can't fight the universe. The universe will win eventually. So again, just keep bringing yourself back to center. If you're doing a path, find a path that keeps bringing you back to center. Not a path that's going to keep trying to generate how to do powers, how to do this, all of this drama. Oh, you have to depend on this person, worship them, make them a god, make them your reality, make them your savior, make them your, your everything. Then you've given away yourself. You've given away, abdicated that is, which is present in all. Don't give that away. Don't make yourselves less, even though they're telling you you are more. Don't depend on them for your more, okay? It's a losing battle in that. Okay, so I will leave this here. Namaste. Have a great morning, everyone.